Welcome to today's episode of Quest for Cookies. Today we'll be discussing Red Dead Redemption 1 and the intricacies of the game. Let's get into it. Imagine this. You and your wife spent much of your young adulthood part of a gang in the Wild West that robs and kills. With your son, you finally escaped that life and settled down on a farm, leaving law evasion in the past. One day, the law catches up to you and tasks you to be their bounty man. With your son and wife in prison, you have no choice but to hunt down your former friends and gang members to get them back. Here are some of the best and worst parts of the game. Listen, this game is old, like really old, like 14 years old. But after a decade and a half, it holds up. While the graphics are dated, as technology has improved over the last few years, the storyline makes up for it entirely. On top of that, the voice acting is incredible, and one of my favorite parts of the game. Some criticism I have is the mechanics. It's nearly impossible to steer a carriage without careening off a cliff, which is the basis of one of the missions. You have to race on a cliffside with a horse-drawn cart that doesn't respond to your controller. Another downer is the satchel capacity. I'm not an expert at games by any means, but I would like to have more than 5 health tonics for a mission, but it really isn't a game ruiner. Besides that, the game really helps you out in most situations. Getting on and off a horse is simplified to a button push, which initiates an animation. Deadeye, the mechanic that slows time and allows for you to target enemies, gives you ample time to aim and shoot like a real gunslinger. Quests are detailed and often give a lower third text box telling you what to do. On another note, one of my favorite parts of Red Dead Redemption 1 is Undead Nightmare. I might like this game version better than the regular one, as there's a little bit more challenge to it. There's a lot of mini quests like the 4 horses that you can get to symbolize the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse, and it's pretty fun clearing out towns and helping out survivors. A quick note though, when clearing out towns, give the survivors your ammunition. If you don't, they can become overrun without warning at random times and you can never get them back. Also, do not finish the game unless you want to be zombified John Marsden forever. I finished the game and ended up reloading an older save that was just before the last mission, so that I could continue exploring without hearing the moans and groans of the undead John. And this is what I've done with the game. There's not much customization to this game, but for safe houses, my favorite is Casa Madruga and Chuparosa. I don't really have a reason why, I just like the look of them. I haven't really acquired a lot of John's outfits either, since they take a bit of dedication, and I like just running around and doing small tasks. But I really enjoyed John's Mexican poncho outfit the most, as I rode around Mexico. It was just fitting, I guess, and it didn't change much about him, which I prefer, rather than having a large coat. This section is going to be filled with some spoilers, so please avoid this if you're looking to play the game in the future. I enjoyed the story so much, having played Red Dead Redemption 2 and having built up the resentment towards Dutch, and I enjoyed catching him and fighting off his men. I also really enjoyed becoming Jack at the end of the game, just like how in Red Dead Redemption 2, spoiler, you become John. It just feels like the games go hand in hand. While out of the two, I definitely prefer Red Dead Redemption 2, it's definitely worth playing the first game. It acts almost as a sequel to the second game, which makes it really interesting to play after playing the second game. I definitely recommend it. In addition, the storyline pairs nicely with Red Dead Redemption 2, something I was definitely worried about. I was anticipating a disconnect between the games since there's almost a decade between them, but they barely miss a beat. Rockstar is really on top of their stuff. With games like GTA, it's really impressive to me that they can both have an open world game and at the same time have this complex storyline that you don't necessarily have to play to enjoy the game. Like with Red Dead Redemption 1. You could do all the quests, but you could also just go around, forage, and make money. Then you could get the best horse and buy all safe houses and have the best situation to start playing the quests. It just adds another layer of gameplay and practically doubles it too. That's all I'll be discussing today. So thank you for listening, and please leave a comment if you have any suggestions or any thoughts about today's episode. I'll see you in the next one.